This isn't just a royal love story gone wrong. This is a trail of scorched earth, shattered friendships, and critics lining up like they've got receipts. And at the center of it all stands Meghan Markle, a woman some call a misunderstood outsider, and others swear is the most strategic operator to ever set foot near a throne.
Which is very revelatory, as you know, about Meghan and Harry. I got absolutely no help from the palace whatsoever, on the contrary.
The Duchess of Sussex was once extremely rude while criticizing a plan drawn up by the young female employee in front of other colleagues.
Is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
My royal family, this is my country. Prince Harry is my Prince Harry.
So you're jealous?
I'm not jealous of Meghan. Who wants to be Meghan Markle? Like, I'm unpopular. I'm known as the biggest bitch in Britain. The only person in Britain who's more unpopular than me, Meghan Markle.
And she reached out to Victoria to get freebies. Victoria was happy to see her clothes on Meghan. Very good-looking woman, the Duchess. Whatever Meghan was wearing would be an instant sellout.
Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Yep.
Meghan Markle chose not to put in an official statement because she knows she would get into a lot of legal trouble and she needed plausible deniability. The evidence has been staring at us in the face and they've been trying to hide it from us.
They quite literally have no talent.
There's a situation now with Meghan Markle where she signed a jam card saying HRH, Her Royal Highness, to her friend, and the debate is that yes, her titles were pulled publicly, she and Harry, but no one mentioned anything privately. It's almost like a legal document loophole, like no one said that.
And that was very critical because at that moment last year she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to firstly be seen with Harry.
Meghan is, remember how I said they'll be divorced soon? I don't really know what's going on with them. I like them. And last night made me like her even more.
From the very beginning, the whispers weren't about fairy tales. They were about ambition. Loud, unapologetic, laser-focused ambition. Long before tiaras and palace balconies, critics online were already painting a picture of someone they believed was carefully curating every step of her rise. Old photos resurfaced. Old clips resurfaced. Old jokes suddenly didn't feel like jokes anymore. The narrative forming around her wasn't lucky girl meets prince. It was long game finally pays off. One of the earliest loud voices came from outside the royal bubble, a comedian who took one look at Meghan's past Hollywood hustle and basically said, "This didn't happen by accident." At the time, people rolled their eyes, called it jealousy, called it cruelty. But years later, when royal exits, Netflix deals, and bombshell interviews stacked up, those early posts started getting re-examined like they were prophecy instead of punchlines.
Making fun of celebrities on her Instagram page, Erin Foster is no stranger when it comes to sharing her opinions about Meghan Markle. In November 2017, Erin posted an old photo of Meghan back in her days on the television show Deal or No Deal. Erin posted the photo with a caption that said "Never forget," but the post did not end there. Erin posted another picture of the.
Then came the critics who didn't just side-eye, they went all in. Commentators who built entire talking points around one burning question: how do you demand privacy while stepping into the brightest spotlight on Earth? For them, the contradiction was the story. Every interview, every documentary, every carefully framed public appearance became evidence in a case they believe proved Meghan wasn't running from fame, she was redesigning it on her own terms.
Meghan Markle is the biggest hypocrite there is. What does Meghan Markle do? Oh, we've got to save the planet, save the planet. Oh, do one good thing every day. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Then what does she do? Get on 4 private flights to wherever land at £400,000 a week hire, and then uses up half the CO2 emissions that anyone else might have had. It's pure hypocrisy. And what is she really? She's a no one. She's a divorcee. When did we want a divorcee in the royal family? She wears bad clothes. When did we ask for that? We've just got so much better of our own. There were old, knackered old skeptics like me, old, haggard women going, "Oh, that doesn't look very good." And then sort of the young, beautiful people going, "Oh, we love her social media. Oh, fabulous, fabulous Beyonce." That's the split. And the haggard ones have got even more entrenched in their hatred. And I think even the young ones are sceptical because Prince Harry's lost all of his va-va-voom. If I criticise Meghan, as we can hear I am, people say, well, you're racist. And honestly, It's not even a second thought to me. It only comes up in the minds of those who are truly racist, and that's never people like me. I'm just observing the dress is better on Kate, how she wears it is better. So this racist thing is really old and tired, but I think it's just people's way of sort of saying, you must not criticize Meghan.
The backlash got loud, ugly loud. Some of it crossed lines. Some of it revealed more about the critics than the woman they were attacking. But inside that noise was a persistent accusation that refused to die: hypocrisy. Environmental speeches followed by private jet reports. Pleas for space followed by primetime exclusives. To supporters, it was survival in a brutal system. To detractors, it was branding, pure and simple. And the thing is, this wasn't just tabloid chatter anymore. Reality TV moguls, media personalities, political voices, people with massive platforms started weighing in before certain interviews had even aired, already convinced they knew how the story would be framed.
Meghan Markle? Let's have a look at some before and after pictures, shall we? Meghan Markle before, when she used to be in suits, and she was all tight black suits, hot black underwear, small skirts. Now, Meghan Markle, whoo! I'm not sure, did someone maybe put an air pump up her and just pump away? Because it's all gone a little bit inflatable, hasn't it? And I know we're supposed to say, oh, she's had children, isn't that wonderful, isn't that marvellous? Oh, doesn't she look great? But no, actually, I don't think she does. I think a few sit-ups wouldn't go amiss. I think after you've had children, you do have to make an extra effort to try and stay in shape. I think if you want to have any kind of midriff again, you need to be putting a bit of effort in.
When that now iconic television special finally hit screens, the divide exploded. Sympathy flooded in from millions who saw a woman describing pain, isolation, and pressure behind palace walls. At the exact same time, critics doubled down, arguing that going public on such a scale undercut every claim about wanting a quiet life.
Meghan Markle can't win for losing. So you guys were irritated that that trailer for her show was, there is a lack of identity and understanding as to exactly who she is to the audience. Like, first we're in Montecito and it's all perfect, which would have been fine. Commit to the bit, because they do live in, I think, like a $23 million house in Montecito, and it is pretty pristine. So commit to that bit. But I feel like because of a reaction from you guys, now it's more natural and just delivering really unfiltered, fresh out of bed content. And that is turning people off because they're like, wait, what happened to the perfect content?
What made it messier was the growing belief among skeptics that Meghan's narrative seemed to shift depending on the audience. British press villain, American empowerment figure, Hollywood humanitarian, royal rebel. To fans, that's called complexity. To enemies, it's called calculation. And then politics entered the chat, and once politics shows up, subtlety packs its bags and leaves. Commentators who never cared about royal weddings suddenly had a lot to say. They saw a privileged woman, in their view, stepping into historic institutions and then publicly challenging them, and they did not like the optics.
And also, they're supposed to appear understated, Montecito, muted tones, and this is a different look. Anyone's allowed to take any picture down that they want, and I mean, I can't imagine going to that event and not thinking that somehow your picture would end up somewhere, but they couldn't resist the temptation of going, but also wanted to resist the temptation of showing, and they didn't do anything wrong. It's just been hard to be them because they have been riding between two worlds for a long time.
Debates over race, tradition, modernity, and monarchy started swirling together into one explosive cultural argument, and Meghan's name was suddenly at the center of conversations far bigger than celebrity gossip. Supporters said she was exposing uncomfortable truths. Critics said she was weaponizing serious issues. The temperature never came down. But while the world argued ideology, people from Meghan's personal past were being dragged back into the spotlight too. Ex-boyfriends, former friends, industry connections. Old relationships got re-examined through a new suspicious lens. Every breakup became strategic. Every career move became planned. Fair or not, the narrative forming around her wasn't just about love. It was about ladders. Who she knew, when she knew them. What happened right after. One former partner who had shared a home and a life with her before the Prince era became a central piece of that storyline. The timeline of when that relationship ended and when the royal romance began has been dissected endlessly by biographers and critics who claim it shows a pattern. He, notably, has mostly stayed quiet, which somehow made the speculation louder. And that silence? It became a contrast people couldn't stop pointing out. The ex who didn't sell stories, the chef who didn't go on a press tour, the man who, according to commentators, walked away with dignity while headlines swirled around the woman who moved on to a palace. Meanwhile, American TV personalities piled on with their own blunt takes. Some said Meghan knew exactly what royal life meant and shouldn't act shocked by media attention. Others said she was simply playing the same fame game every celebrity plays, she just married into a different league. Through it all, one theme kept repeating like a drumbeat critics couldn't resist: you can't claim you never wanted the spotlight while standing dead center in it. Supporters fired back just as hard, arguing that wanting to control your story isn't the same as craving fame. What's undeniable is this: Meghan Markle didn't just marry a prince. She stepped into a global culture war about class, race, media power, and modern womanhood, and every enemy she's made sees her as proof they're right. And we're only halfway down the list of people who have taken public aim. And just when you think the enemy list couldn't possibly get longer, louder, or more personal, it does. Because now we move from commentators and critics to people whose lives actually collided with Meghan's long before the palace gates ever opened. One daytime TV queen didn't hold back at all. Long before Duchess titles and royal tours, she remembered Meghan as an aspiring entertainer trying to get booked, trying to get noticed, trying to get in the room. So when Meghan later spoke about being overwhelmed by royal fame, this host practically laughed on air. Her take was blunt: you chased visibility your whole career, you don't get to act surprised when the world finally looks. That commentary stung because it reframed Meghan's journey not as accidental fairy tale, but as a climb. A deliberate, persistent climb. And in gossip circles, that idea spread fast. Not that Meghan fell into royalty, but that she recognized an opportunity and took it with both hands. Then came one of the most explosive media moments tied to Meghan's name, and she wasn't even in the studio. A co-host defending a known critic of Meghan ended up in such a heated on-air confrontation that it cost her a long-running television job. Suddenly, having an opinion about Meghan Markle wasn't just risky socially, it was risky professionally. To some, that proved Meghan had powerful allies shaping narratives behind the scenes. To others, it showed how toxic the conversation had become, where even defending free speech turned into career-ending controversy. Either way, her name was now linked to industry fallout, not just family drama. And speaking of family, this is where the story shifts from uncomfortable to downright cold, at least according to the people telling it. Before there was a prince, there was a husband, a man who dated her for years, supported her career, married her in a beach ceremony, and then, according to accounts repeated endlessly in biographies and interviews, received his wedding rings back in the mail. No big conversation, no dramatic public split, just a package. A symbol of a marriage returned like an item that no longer fit the plan. Critics seized on that detail like it was the Rosetta Stone of Meghan Markle. To them, it showed a pattern. When a chapter is over, it's over completely. No lingering attachments. No looking back. Supporters argue breakups are messy and private. Detractors say it looked transactional, like one life phase neatly boxed up and shipped away as the next, far more powerful one began. And if ex-husbands sparked whispers, political figures sparked headlines. Because when a former US president openly says he's not a fan, it's no longer celebrity chatter, it's geopolitical shade. Their feud didn't start inside palace walls. It started with comments about elections, leadership, and values. But once Meghan became a duchess, every statement she made carried royal weight. And that didn't sit well with everyone. He accused her of meddling, of disrespecting tradition, of influencing Harry in ways that pulled him further from his roots. Whether that criticism was political theater or genuine belief, it added another powerful name to the ever-growing list of people publicly at odds with her. Then came one of the most shocking media meltdowns tied to Meghan. A column so extreme it triggered record-breaking complaints. A veteran TV personality wrote about her with language so vicious it stunned even his own supporters. The backlash was immediate. The article was pulled, apologies were issued, but the damage was done. What that moment revealed wasn't just personal anger, it revealed how deeply Meghan polarizes people. She doesn't inspire mild dislike. She inspires fury, devotion, defensiveness, and obsession, often all at once. But no critic has turned their fixation into a full-time identity quite like one man who insists his issue is about truth, not hurt feelings. Their story began with friendly messages and drinks, and ended, according to him, with being completely cut off the moment a prince entered the picture. From that point on, his criticism became relentless. Interview after interview, column after column, television segment after television segment. He didn't just disagree with Meghan, He openly declared he didn't believe some of her most serious claims. The backlash to that disbelief led to an on-air clash so explosive he walked off set, and soon after, walked away from his job. Did that slow him down? Not even a little. If anything, it fueled him. He built a new platform and kept going, dissecting every documentary, every interview, every public move she made. To supporters, he's holding power accountable. To critics, he's a man who never got over being ghosted. Either way, his career is now permanently tied to one name. And then there's the family member who refuses to fade into the background. Half-sister. Tell-all interviews. Lawsuits. Public accusations that Meghan rewrote her past and erased the people who knew her before the palace. The legal battles didn't end in her favor, but the emotional damage? That looks permanent. Her father hasn't met his grandchildren. Her siblings speak through headlines instead of phone calls. Whether you see Meghan as protecting her peace or abandoning her roots depends entirely on which side of the divide you stand on. And that's the real headline beneath all the noise. Meghan Markle isn't just a duchess, a celebrity, or a media figure. She's a lightning rod. Every person who clashes with her seems to believe they've seen the real her. Every supporter believes the critics never gave her a fair chance. What's left behind is a trail of broken relationships, public feuds, career-ending arguments, and cultural debates that stretch far beyond royal gossip. Victim of a brutal system or mastermind of her own ascent? The world still can't agree. But one thing is certain, Meghan didn't just enter the royal family. She detonated inside it. And the fallout is still unfolding.